Hello everyone. What I'm going to do in this video is we're going to walk through together the Australian dollar futures chart. Starting back in the beginning of August 2013. Now, what I want to tell you up front here is what I've done is starting with the FDate report dated July 26th, 2013, I started plotting every single F date. I left none out. I skipped none. Every single daily F date, which is the DTDs that you see on this chart, and every weekly turn date that was on the reports since July 26, 2013, are also plotted on this chart. So I'm going to show you the good. I'm going to show you the bad. I'm leaving nothing out. I want you to watch this video carefully, and as a matter of fact, there's likely going to be so much information that I'm going to provide you in this video, you may want to watch it more than once. Okay. Let's get right into it, and then I will throw in points along the way. We're starting over here with this major bottom. And this was a significant bottom, by the way. If I was to, you can see I've just moved the chart over. You can see it had this major bear trend, and it finally bottomed right here on August 5th. Now let me go ahead and move that back over because I need to get as much information in here as possible. This bottom, this major bottom, occurred on August 5th, 2013. The daily turn date was listed as August 2nd plus, which those of you who have been in the membership for a while know that it's all F dates, all TDDs and WTDs are plus and minus 1 bar. But if I add a plus or a minus to the date, that is simply indicating that if the turn is early or late, there's just more probability of it being one over the other. In this case here, it's saying that the probability is greater for it to be a day late as opposed to a day early, assuming that it's not on time. It could have been a day early. It would have still been valid. It's just that I just add a little notation here that a little extra information that I received in my analysis hinted, that would be a good word to use, hinted that it could possibly fall on time or late 1 bar as opposed to early. But it could have been early and it still would have been valid because it would have been 1 day within the 8-2. Well, in this case, it worked out to be 1 bar late. So 8-2 plus would have been a Friday, and it occurred the next trading day, which was 8-5 Monday. This, by the way, 8-5, the actual bottom, occurred within week ending 8-9. So 8-5 was Monday, and of course the weeks are dated based on Friday. So it fell on week ending 8-9, which meant that that particular weekly turn date was right on time, and it was the major bottom in the Australian dollar. Okay, so as prices started to move up and this bottom eventually would get confirmed, we of course would start looking for buy setups. Let's go ahead and take a look at each one of these daily turn dates in the exact order that you received them on every single F-date report since July 26, 2013. So we have the 8-9 F-date, which is this swing top you see right here. And then the next F-date was right here on August 19th. So we did not forecast this bottom here. We did not note it with an F-date. So we have 2 tops in a row that was forecasted on the report. Prices then dropped, made a bottom here. We didn't note that, but we did note the turn for August 26th, and it had the asterisk, which means it was a $ F date, which is a higher probability that you'll have a turn, and then that definitely resulted in this move down here. We got this sort of double bottom thing here, but the one that was forecasted by the report is this one right here. That was the 8:30 F date, and we also had a weekly turn date for the same week. So we nailed them both. We nailed both of these bottoms here. Okay, that was great. Now, we're definitely going to be looking for buy setups here, and because this one was higher than here, you could have already started to buy at this time. And then I want you to kind of note that whenever you're looking at possible buy setups, try to see if you can find support. So, for example, with the Australian dollar, what I found is using Gann ratios as opposed to Fibonacci ratios seem to work best. So I'm assuming the Aussies are real big with Gann as opposed to Fibonacci. Just a theory. So let's see. Let me apply the right indicator here. Let me do a Gann retracement. See if I got it here. Okay, so we got ourselves a, let's see, I can't, it's 87.5. Okay, 87.5 pullback here. Let's see if we had any others. I'm doing this all on the fly here, by the way. Okay, time price squaring off of the significant top here. We definitely had support here and then support down here on this very low here. This one here, by the way, is a higher low than here, which made it a very good pre-confirmation buy setup based on this weekly turn date. But because it was also higher than here and it was a pullback to a Gann support, would have been a good buy anyway in comparison to here. Okay, so we'll continue on. Let me get rid of, we got enough stuff on this chart. We don't need to get it any more crowded. Okay, so we're doing pretty good here. We're hitting a lot of the important tops and bottoms now. Let's get into the subtle things that new members have trouble with in the beginning. So this is something where we're going to really help you learn what these are. Here was DTD, okay, let me just say FDate 95, daily FDate 95, asterisk. This was another $ FDate. You might have looked at this chart and go, oh man, we didn't get a swing top or a bottom. No, actually we did. We got a swing bottom here. If you'll look at these two lows, they're identical. They're both at 0.9001. This makes this here a plateau bottom, which is an equal low plateau bottom. It's like a double bottom, okay, and which made this a potential swing bottom. And you could have bought here. So you could have bought here. You could have bought here. There's two entries already on the long side here off these two weekly turn bottoms here. Okay, so excellent trade opportunities here. As price goes up, we can see that 910 asterisk, that's a $ F date here. We got nothing. Now I want to tell you or mention to you, do we care that we got nothing? The answer should be no. Why? Because we're not looking for sell setups. This is where I mentioned to you that we don't trade every turn date. We only trade the ones that have anything to do with going with the trend. That means we're going to ignore perhaps half of the F dates. Okay? And so if any of them are going to fail, and nothing is perfect, some are going to fail, and you're going to see some others that did fail, all we care about is the ones that get us in the trade, that they don't fail. And if they do fail, we still don't end up in the trade. See, that's why the guidelines are so important. All right. Anyway, so we can see here, the high here is definitely higher than previous highs here. We would not have sold off this anyway. So we don't care, but that's a busted date. Like I said, I'm hiding nothing. The closet is open and the skeletons are all there dangling so that you can see. Well, then prices did correct back a couple of days later. And here we see F date 916 minus, which was a Monday. So the minus part hinted that it could be early. It was early. 9/13 Friday made this bottom. It was another buy setup opportunity. However, you would have been hard pressed to have gotten in because it gapped. Okay, so sometimes we can get in, sometimes we won't. I wouldn't chase this, just to let you know. If we don't trade through this high to get in right here, I don't chase it. I let it go. Okay, no big deal. The next F date to follow ended up being 9/17 plus, which meant either 9/17 or a bar before or after, but it hinted that it leaned more late than early. Remember we talked about that? Well, sure enough, 9/18 produced this top. Okay, so these are two consecutive, and these were in close proximity. You can see here, 9/17 plus and 9/16 minus, and they picked up the one bar before, they picked up the one bar after. It worked perfect. Now, of course, we wouldn't sell this, remember that, because we were looking for buy setups, okay? What you might do with something like this is, you might put a stop loss here if you didn't want the move to go against you, but we're not going to talk about stops here, okay? As we went down, we had a F date 9/24. Again, here we go. These two tops here are equal. 0.9351 is the price for both of these. So this bar here was a plateau top. Remember the plateau bottom? You have to keep an eye on these price bars. Okay, sometimes you have to squint and look really close. Don't expect your turns to be these really big ones all the time, because we're also looking for these minor pullbacks to get into the trade along with these nice strong trends. Okay, so here we had a plateau top. Okay, prices continued down. Now here we had this bottom here. We didn't have an F date for this bottom. However, it formed within weekly turn date 10/4. So that was nice, and it led to this nice charge up all the way to the very top. And we're going to cover those now. This high here, this pause formation, was 10/2 minus. And if you don't know what a pause formation, you need to go look at the training materials, but it's anytime you have a price bar followed by an inside bar. So you had this pause formation, and it was following the potential weekly swing bottom low. You had a pre-confirmation buy setup right here. This would have been a really nice trade to go along with this two nice trades that you had going up here. Okay, so far we were trading these. We did not trade this, and now we're back to trading this again. Notice we're going with the trend. We're not going against the trend. We're going with the trend, following the guidelines. Okay? So now, as we continue, we'll notice that here the next F date to pop up was 10/8 asterisk, which was a $ F date. Okay? Now, let me see, make sure I got everything here. Okay? Okay, looking at this, we could have, let's see, 10/4 plus, no, okay, we already accounted for this. 10/8, we could have taken this bar as a buy because it was 10/7 right here. And I didn't happen to notice this before, interesting enough, but these two lows are identical. So that's another plateau bottom right here. But anyway, then there was a swing top here and prices pulled back, and that was basically what I was pointing at, because I had already marked this correction for here, a plateau bottom, see? So here I was marking the top, so basically you wouldn't trade going down this way. We didn't get anything for this bar right here, apparently, so we're still long from over here, but we're not adding yet to here. But then we come over here, and this time, this is actually a lower low than here by about 2 ticks, and that was F date 10/15, another buying opportunity. Now, the next F date report actually adjusted 10/15 up to 10/16. 10/16 produced nothing. Okay? Like I said, I'm hiding nothing. So that didn't give us anything whatsoever. Okay, do we lose money from that? No. We just happen to have no use for the date. We just continue on. Come over here, 1018 was the next one. Again, we got hit with a pause formation. If you wanted to, you could have bought right here. Getting higher up here, of course, we reverse. You wouldn't have made anything here unless you're day trading it. But anyway, I'm not going to speculate what you might have done. Coming up to the very top was FDate 1022 plus. And yep, that plus actually worked pretty good for this hint here because that was 1023. So far, these three pluses that we had here and this minus, they all basically hit pretty good. This -2, so 3 pluses and 2 minuses. And that the hint actually worked out quite nicely. It won't always do that, and I'll show you. There's one over here I know that it didn't do that. Okay, prices came back down. Now it came down straight from here. There was no F dates until we came to here, which made the swing bottom 1030. Okay, and then prices moved up. This was 11.7 $. It was a $sign F date, and that, as we can see, is definitely a significant top because we had all this to go from it. And also, it was inside of weekly turn date 11.8. However, this did not form a weekly swing top on the weekly chart. It's interesting that it turned out to be an important turn date on the daily chart, but in the $sign, it was a $sign F date. But inside this weekly turn date, it did not produce a weekly swing top. As you know, if you looked at the, well, we can do that. Let's see if it's still on the chart here. Oh, I'd have to move the chart over. 11.8. Okay, see, 11.8 was right here. Okay, here's what happened. Okay, we did actually get something for 11.8. It was 1 bar later. It's 11.15. And then prices rallied up. You can't actually see a swing bottom here, but because of the outside bar, it kind of covers up the low. But it did make a weekly swing bottom here, or a weekly bottom. Then it ran up, made a top, and then came back down. So it started the correction, but it was a weekly bar off. But anyway, that was neither here nor there. I just wrote no show on the weekly chart, but it actually, when you look at it, it did show. It just wasn't so obvious when I looked at it. Anyway, moving down, we didn't get this bottom here on the report. We don't care. It's a lower bottom than here. We're already in a downward trend. We're already selling this thing because it already confirmed a weekly swing top right up here. Okay, so we've been selling this. So we've made buy, 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 buy. Then we are selling. Now we're selling the downward, okay? And so here, we're not going to buy because we're only selling, and this is lower than here. So it doesn't matter that we didn't forecast this one. It really doesn't matter that we did forecast this pause formation. We're not going to trade it, so you can ignore it. And then we come up here, and we have this double top. Now, on the one report, it was 11.19, but the following week it had adjusted to 11.20. No biggie, because 11.19 and 11.20 are kissing cousins. Okay, so there you go. F-dates definitely doing their job here. Prices then started to move down until it went down to F-date 11.25. So it went from here to here. Nicely spaced from here to here. Nicely spaced here and here and here and here. Just beautiful. And it made ourselves a sell setup, okay? And it would have filled, and then you would have had to have ride it for a couple of days. 11.27 was a holiday, nothing really, you know, there's no trading here, but prices did turn, so we know we can see that. Then it was followed by F-date 12.3, which gave us another sell setup. So we had one sell setup here, hasn't yet gone into profit. Okay, so we're sitting here in the negative. Then we have another sell setup. We get into that, and now both trades are in profit. It comes down here to F-date 12.6, which makes this swing bottom. Okay, prices rise because of the swing bottom, and we get ourselves this swing top here. However, this is not an F date, so we didn't have a sell setup. And the fortunate here, let's see, the high here, 91.08, the higher not. Okay, so if you didn't move your stops down, you would have gotten stopped out, assuming that you only had it one tick above here. Because this one went 3 ticks above here. Just hard to see. Looks equal. So in this case right here, depending on how tight you moved your stop, you may have gotten stopped out. Otherwise, hopefully you got out early, or you gave it a little bit more room than 2-3 ticks. We're not going to get into the stop loss thing. I just want to show you how really cool all these FDates are doing their job here, weekly and daily. So anyway, prices continue in this bear trend here, and goes to FDate 1212, and then it rises up to 1216. Now this is one day late, it's 1213, and this is 1216. The dates look like they're 4 days apart, but yet the bars are only 1 day apart because we had a weekend right there in the middle, 2 days. Okay, so got the bottom and the top. That's another sell setup, and then it comes down here. Here we have 1219 dollar sign, which made this bottom. Then it moves up to FDate 1224, which is this top. Okay, and nicely this top is below here, so that's really good. We're not getting any stop outs here, and we're continuing back down again. Now we got FDate 1231, which makes this bottom, which is inside weekly FDate 13, which ended up becoming a confirmed weekly swing bottom on the weekly chart. We're buying here, and we've got prices going up to here, to this top, 1.3, that was good. Then prices moving down to 1.9, that was good. Prices moving up to 1.14, good, that was working good. It came down even lower, swung back up again, got hit to the swing top, 122, came all the way back down again, and now we're in weekly turn date 124, which is the weekly bottom here. So in this case here, we had this weekly turn date here. So you could have been buyers here if you wanted to, though there was more sideways action than anything else here. And by the way, you can't really see it. Well, I can move this. Let's see. Let me move this camera here. You'll probably not be able to see all this. Okay, so we had all this action happening here. It was trying to go higher and higher. Here, the MACD and the ADX were pinching each other down here. This was coming down, scooping down, oversold, and this was saying, hey, trend is coming to an end here. And so basically was a warning, but yet it had one more drop before it was going to give its last hurrah. Again, I don't know if the camera picked this up, but we hit bottom here, we hit the top here, we hit the bottom here, we hit the top here, we hit the bottom here. These are all in a row. We hit the top here, then we came down, we swung up, hit the lower top here, came down, we hit this weekly bottom, but we didn't have an F date for it. We had a weekly turn date. But that was warning us now for a weekly bottom. And then when it came up and made this potential higher swing bottom for this F date right here, we had a buy setup. Again, another F date bottom right here, though I wouldn't have tried to actually buy that big bar. Then we had a pause formation here, this pullback. You could have bought above this high of this inside bar because it's a small enough range. Of course, your stop goes below it. Prices go up. It pulled back again to this F date, another buy setup, and then it moved up. And let's see, it looks like I'm done with F dates here. Wait a minute. Yeah, here's the last F date, 217 minus. Okay, here's the one where I had a minus, and it actually was a plus because it was 218 right there. So it's within 1 day that was valid. Whew! Okay, 25-minute long video, but this is very important. If you've followed along, you've learned about plateau bottoms, plateau tops, and pause formations. You can see the importance of trading the F dates only in the direction of the trend. how we can determine the direction based on where the last weekly swing occurred. Whether it was a bottom, we look for buy setups. If it was a top, we look for sell setups. Also, you got to see how the FDates just nailed these turns really well. Bottom, top here. Here's a top here, bottom here, so forth. Just beautiful. Boom, boom, boom. And if you just learn these patterns with these FDates, okay, you saw profit, 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 profit. We sold, 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 sold. You know, buy, 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 sold, 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 sold. It was perfect. There's a couple of right here in this area here. We had a potential stop out where you would have stopped out with a loss. When you consider from all the way here, from the beginning of August all the way to February of 2014, we had a multitude of profit trades here and just a couple of little small losses. Okay, if you didn't catch all that, watch this again and again. Thanks for watching. I look forward to your questions if you have any, or I look forward to hear you going, wow, man, that looks pretty cool when it's all on a chart at one time and explained in detail. Thanks, Rick. All right, take care, bye.